What's up guys, Nathan here, and today I'm going to give you one simple trick to beat crazy and unpredictable poker players. It works almost every time. Let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so I just got back from the beach here, and those crazy, wild, unpredictable poker players have been driving me crazy. Maybe they've been driving you crazy as well at the poker table. So today we're going to talk about it. How do you beat these players that are raising you every single hand? Today I'm going to break it all down for you step by step with an example hand. We're going to walk you through it on how to beat these players. Alright, so first and foremost, the biggest thing that you need to know versus wild, crazy, unpredictable poker players is you don't want to fight fire versus fire. You want to use their aggression against them. If you guys are a long-time fan of the channel here, you watch a lot of my videos, you read my poker blog or anything like that, any of my books, you know that I am a very, very aggressive poker player. This is the style of poker that I teach. I recently had somebody tell me actually the style I teach is too aggressive for them, so that's how I know I'm pushing the envelope. But versus these kind of players, this is the one exception. This is the one spot where you actually want to use these players' aggression against them, and we're going to walk through an example hand right now. So for example, you raise up ace jack of hearts from the button, and a maniac, one of these wild and unpredictable poker players, 3-bets you in the big blinds. Well, okay, so in a situation like this, we have a strong hand. Ace jack suited is up there. It's arguably in the top 10 of all hands that you can get dealt to you. However, it is not in that upper echelon of premium hands, pocket aces, pocket kings, ace king, ace queen, pocket queens, stuff like that. It's a spot where if we go ahead and make the 4-bet right now, we open up the door for this crazy and wild, unpredictable player to shove on us. And when you're in a spot like that where you know it's going to feel really bad if he shoves on you here and you have this hand, it's often better just to call. The other thing is that I hope you guys already noticed is that we are in position in this hand, which is a massive, statistically proven advantage in poker. We're going to get to act last on the flop, turn, and river, so it just makes sense for us to flat call in this situation. Even though we expect to be far ahead of this player's range, a lot of the time it's best to just cap the betting right now, go to the flop, and outplay this player on the post-flop street. So let's move on to the flop right now. Alright, so the flop comes down with a king of clubs, jack of spades, and 5 of hearts. Pretty good flop for our hand. We have middle pair, top kicker. So the maniac comes out and makes his continuation bet. Remember, we're going to be acting last because we're on the button. This player's in the big blind. So what should we be doing in a spot like this? Well, a lot of people will make the mistake of raising here, and what you should be doing here instead is just flat calling, because what this does is it keeps their bluffing range as wide as possible. And what I mean by that is it allows them to continue thinking that they're ahead in the hand. Guys, what do wild, crazy, unpredictable poker players like to do? They like to bluff a lot. They like to pretend that, you know, they're the big captain, the big dog at the poker table. So you want to allow them to keep wearing that hat. You don't want to take that away from them right now. And the other thing is, once again, just like pre-flop, we're in one of these situations where you need to ask yourself, once again, if we make a raise here and they come over the top with another raise, are you happy? Do you really want to go, you know, wager all your chips right now with middle pair? Because even maniacs get top pair sometimes. Even maniacs can have king deuce here, for example. You know, we're not in very good shape versus that hand. So for all of these reasons, it makes sense, once again, to just flat call here and use this player's aggression against them. Let's go see the turn. So the turn comes down with the 8 of diamonds. Fairly harmless card. It doesn't complete any of the major draws, and I should have pointed that out on the flop as well, is that there are not a lot of draws on this board. There is a queen 10 for an obvious straight draw, ace 10 for a gut shot. We also block that hand because we have an ace in our hand, but beyond that, guys, there's not a whole lot going on. There's not any legitimate flush draws. There's no other real open-ended straight draws, at least. So fairly harmless board, which is another situation where it makes more sense to just play it slowly, because we don't have that threat of being outdrawn because there's not a lot of draws on this board. So the 8 of diamonds does not complete, you know, the queen 10, for example. The queen 10, we don't want to see an ace, and we don't want to see a 9. The 8, of course, is neither of those. So the maniac fires again. What should we be doing in a spot like this? Again, a lot of people make the mistake here of saying, I've got to raise now, I've got to show them who's boss. No, guys, we want to just call here once again, and the reason is very similar to pre-flop and flop. This is a textbook WAWB, which stands for way ahead, way behind situation, whereas once again, if we raise here, we are very likely to only get action from the handful of hands that beat us, such as a king, such as a 2-pair hand like Jack 8 or something like that, and we're going to fold out all of their other hands. You know, even maniacs that have ace 3 for nothing right here, they're not dumb. If you make a big raise here, they're going to fold. So once again, we want to keep their bluffing range as wide as possible. We want to let him think he can just keep bluffing us with his ace 3, and so we do not want to raise in this situation. We want to just call again, and let's go see the river. So the river comes down with another fairly harmless brick, the 6 of hearts, and the maniac fires the 3rd shell, the triple barrel. Now guys, normally against any other player type, I would say that you definitely need to lay your hand down here now, and I want to make it abundantly clear that in this hand we are talking about a wild, crazy, unpredictable maniac. I'm not talking about one of those tight and aggressive regular players. I'm not talking about one of those tight passive regular players. I'm not talking about any kind of normal, sane thinking opponent. I'm talking about the Friday night drunken maniac here who fires the 3rd shell on you. In this spot, yes, you have to be making the call here. You beat wild and crazy players, guys, like this by making large multi-street call downs, even with a hand like middle pair, sometimes with bottom pair. That's how you beat these players. There was literally no point at any spot in this hand where raising made any sense. Even on the river here, once again, we should not expect to get called by a hand like ace high, for example, or even a lot of worse pairs. I mean, I guess if he happens to have a 6 or an 8, we might get a call out of him, but the bottom line, guys, is you make the money versus these kind of players by just hitting the call button. Let them bluff their chips off to you. You always want to be using their aggression against them. They love to bluff. They love to bet. They love to be the table captain. Let them do just that. Don't raise them in a situation like this and give them a reason to fold. So guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I'm going back to the beach. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been Nathan Williams with BlackRain79.com.